friends. 3, 2, 1, TikTok live number 33. Just did one last night, but we're at it again. We got some free time. Let's do it. Let's ask some questions. You see that? Look at the Empire State Building. You see that? They do a little light show on the hour. Right now it's 7:01. Today is Sunday, the 22nd of September, 2024. That's pretty sweet, huh? Pretty sweet. We got you guys can't see it on TikTok. You guys, it's only on the that's all right. That's right. It's on my live. I'm recording this live on Riverside. I'll be putting this up on podcasts on Spotify and YouTube afterwards. The top 3 listeners who stay on the longest, I'm going to give you a shout out. Okay, I'll give you a shout out in the caption later on. Show us your Daytona. Trin, and I give you a shout out when you ask a question, and then we answer it. Trin Din said, show us your Daytona. I don't have a Daytona. This is a Citizen. This is a Citizen. I don't even know what kind of Citizen it is. It's like 15 years old. Brendan Reardon joined. Brendan Reardon? Dude, we went to high school together. You're on the soccer team. Is that real? Is that the Brendan Reardon that I know of? I was good friends with your older brother. SawitagainHelen asked, deviated septum requiring nasal lift for the implant. Is that a question? Is that a question? Let's go. Candy Gayaba joined, ET joined, Yesha joined, JS joined, Ronald joined. SawitagainHelen, discuss. What do you want me to discuss that? Helen, you're yes, master. Jeez, Helen coming in strong. Deviated nasal septum requiring nasal lift for the implant. Wait, like a dental implant? I don't do implants in the nose. We might be doing transsinus implants in the future. Dr. O, the attending that we have where we do most of our implants at that facility, is looking into that. That would be pretty sweet. Startup Bro joined. Pup Kayak joined. Startup Bro said mid. What does mid mean? I don't know the lingo. What does mid mean? What's up, pal? What's up? Here we go. We got the Trojanator on. I don't know if you know this. This is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a double bock beer. I love it, dude. This is awesome. The Trojanator. It's excellent beer. I don't know if you're a beer guy or gal. Trojanator is excellent. Helen said that you were all about implants. Yeah, I'm about dental implants. We don't do nose implants. You're talking about dental implants? Yeah, no. We're not going to move the nose in order to place a dental implant. That's why. Do you do that? You move the nose around, put in a dental implant in the front? You know what I can say? The Nobel BioCare. That's at this time. It's one of my preferred implants to place, and I really like using the driver. I think one of it on the one on the guided kit maybe is that the one called the Onion where it's got a ball in the end. The one in the regular Nobel kit is like it's got like a longer handle on it, but it has the best tactile sensation to place dental implants with. So that's pretty sweet. Let's go, folks. Ask questions. Look at so many people just joined. Come on. Ask questions. Go. I'm recording this for the podcast. I'm putting it up on Spotify and YouTube later on or tomorrow or something. And I'll be shouting out the top 3 longest listeners of the podcast. Dr. Chavkin's on. Dr. Ross Chavkin. He is the owner of All County Oral Surgery, where I just signed 2 months ago now. I think that was July, right, Dr. Chavkin? I think that was like late July, if I remember correctly. Ronald asked, may I ask what your DAT scores were to get into dental school? Yeah. The academic average I got was a 21, and the PAT score I got was a 22. That was it. Dr. Chavkin said yes. There we go. Dr. Chavkin, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start working next year. I'm starting to think about, remember you said that the people across the street, they're lighting off those little Chinese things where they put a little candle in it or something and it flies away? That's so dangerous. I don't know what the hell they're doing, these people that live by, because there are helicopters that go by, so that can get caught in like the propellers. Look, I don't know. I just live here. But yeah, so Dr. Chavkin, I was thinking about next year, you said you like to have a late day. I think that's a really good idea. One of my buddies was saying that he likes the late day on Monday. I was curious to see if you'd be considering that option. I'll do like a 10:30 to 7 p.m. possibly late day. What was the late day? If you could mention, how late does your late day go? And I don't know if you wanted to start at the early time, because I was also considering maybe at least in the beginning trying out some 8 a.m. starts. I don't know if I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about it because I'm trying to get excited for next year. I have a lot of excitement for next year. I'm not trying to get excited, but yeah, just some thoughts I had. If you want to put that into the chat. Wild Horse had said, is a dental crown better than a filling if the tooth is slightly fractured? Not necessarily. Go with what your provider recommends, okay? There's so many ways that a fracture can affect the tooth, okay? Dr. Chapman says, we can't wait to have you. I can't wait to get going. I'm ready to go. I'm going to get that Cybertruck so you can make fun of me for driving electric. This is recorded, guys. This is going up on the podcast. TikTok live number 33. Saw it again. Helen said, have you heard of doing nasal lift to attach a bone to attach the implant? A nasal, you mean a sinus lift? Saw it again, Helen. You're talking about a sinus lift where we increase the membrane, we put bone grafting inside the maxillary sinus, and that bone integrates. Sometimes you can even put the implant in the same day. I've done that. Works out just fine. Rhonda said, hey, Brendan, sorry if it's been asked before, but don't we need a DDS plus DMD for OMFS residency? Nope. Not in the United States. You could just have your DDS. I'm doing a 4-year residency. It's the 6-year residence. That's spend that extra 2 years in medical school to get the MD. Bunch of Greek letters said 11:59. Not sure what that means there. Dr. Chapin said, I work late on 2. Wednesday, Monday may be the best late day after a weekend. Exactly. Jawman says, LMAO, no, she means nasal. Oh, you mean nasal? No, nope, I've never done that. Not sure. Okay. Oh, so saw it again. Helen said, Dr. Jaffin just said, we can elevate the floor of the nasal cavity and place the implant into bone. Okay, I haven't gone in the nasal cavity. I've just stayed in the maxillary sinus as of right now. I haven't increased the height of any nasal floors. That's interesting. But yeah, I was considering the late day being the Monday. I'd be pretty pumped to do that and then stay like a super late day Monday, like 7:30. I'd consider. Got to make it home for dinner in time. I got my stomach acid. I got a nurse, but yeah, you do Wednesday, and so Dr. Chefin, do you do late day on Mondays as well? When you're saying that you work late on 2, I know you do the Wednesdays. You were talking about that. Shed Pocho said, why is dentistry separate from medicine? I'm not sure. I think it had to do with the insurance systems, or maybe that's just the aftermath, the resulting of, I don't know what the cause is. Shlaed by Luz said, are you married? Not married. Not yet, at least. Grace Morazz followed the live credit. Thanks, Grace. Jawman said, Jawman is Dr. Chafkin. Oh, yep. Okay, elevating the nasal floor. That's fine. Random Onion said, how much debt are you in? Well, thankfully, and I'm very thankful for this, I'm not in any debt as of now. I mean, well, the credit card debt's something else, but got to pay rent, right? Bio's Creation said, hey, what authority does the chief resident have? I mean, we're the highest level resident in the program at any given time. So I'm technically the chief resident. I don't really believe and look at hierarchies, so I just like to say I'm the highest level resident, and I don't call first year residents interns. Personally, I try to refer to them as just first year residents. I don't think that there's anything better between a higher level resident and a lower level resident. You're not necessarily smarter, you just have more experience. And I found that my higher level residents can comprehend that concept, and I couldn't even bring it up with them. But that being said, Dentibro DDS, here solving the hygiene problem? Probably not. That's not what oral surgeons do. Might want to look that up. That's fine. Heidi said, hello, Zygomatic implants, good or bad? Would you recommend? Yeah, we've done Zygomatic implants. Right now, we're pretty hot on looking into the IPS system, and it's a subperiosteal implant where you reflect up the gingiva on the maxilla, kind of like a Lefort incision. You reflect it up. You attach this piece that goes across either side, has like 20 screws that you screw into place, and it has these little abutments on the bottom that the prosthodontist or general dentist can apply and attach the denture to, which is pretty cool. Shlaed by Luz followed the live creator. Thank you. Dr. Chapkin said no. Oh, you said 2 was a typo. Got it. Okay. Dr. Chapkin said, Heidi, they work when necessary. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so cool. I'm considering Monday. I think that would be a pretty sweet thing to consider. I'm considering it. And then I was thinking about maybe 8 a.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got to look into this. I got to look into this further. And we'll see how it goes. Like Dr. Chapkin, I want us to maximize the work that I can do in that office. So we start doing one thing, modify it as necessary. I'd like to see what the team likes to do. So just some thoughts, but we'll discuss that later. We got to get a dinner soon too, by the way. It's been a long time. It's been a while. Muhammad Anzar said, is it worth to do OMS non-CAT to gain experience as a general dentist? So Muhammad Anzar, basically, are you going to do it just to get OMFS experience? Because you're not going to get all OMS surgical experience as a first-year resident, which is what a non-categorical intern, they call it, is, right? So I don't know, what would you do it for? What would be the purpose? So you could apply to oral surgery later on? Then I wouldn't do a non-CAT because you need to get your CBSE, and you're not going to have sufficient time to study for that exam during a residency like that, like in a non-CAT year. You see what I'm saying? I'll go to about 7:30, by the way, folks. 7:25, 7:30. I got to get going on tomorrow. John, do you pull nurses like crazy? The nurses, we get along. You know, we treat patients. We get the job done. You know, pull nurses like crazy. No. Nurses are great because honestly, the nurses have taught me a lot more than some other residents in some situations. The nurses, like I did my first A stick. That's like an arterial line stick that They used to draw for certain blood labs. I did that in MICU for the first and SICU, but I did it first in MICU with an overnight nurse who was awesome. He was an absolute bro. He works at Bolt. Well, I don't want to give away the hospitals, but Grace Morazz, how do you ace your dental school interview? I had one last week and another one next week. Well, remember, it's not a multiple choice exam. You need to recognize that an interview is a conversation. Through healthcare, the system, the educational system, we constantly are bombarded with exams, right? Short answer, multiple choice, and whatnot. But this is a conversation. You want to connect with the person that's interviewing you on a personal level, right? It's not intelligent skills necessarily. It's more intellectual skills. That's how I would put it. Make sense? Conversationalism. If you need some more tips and tricks on conversationalism, I would read the books by Dale Carnegie. Number one is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a very good book. That's my number one favorite book. It's excellent. I've read it like 7 times. I would look into that. It's pretty good. Muhammad Ansar, just to gain experience on implants, sinus lifts, and impacted thirds. You could try. It depends on what program that you go to. Certain programs have their first level residents do that, and other programs might not have their first level residents do those oral surgical procedures. All right, they have to run clinic maybe in other aspects to benefit the nature of the program in some instances. Not everyone, but just to keep that in mind. J2 Wavy said, how do you manage to pass the math prerequisites for dental school? I'm scared for those courses. I mean, you could get tutoring, you could get mentoring, you could use Khan Academy. I used Khan Academy when I took Diffie-Q's differential equations. That was the last math class I took. It was at Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey. SawitagainHelen said, oh my God. Humana.org. Tips for memorizing lots of info in a short amount of time. I would recommend using Quizlet. I would recommend using Quizlet with the premium version, with the figures. That's how you get that muscle memory in the brain. Lots of repetitions. It's just repetitions, okay? IK Baines, share the live. Thanks, IK Baines. I appreciate that. Concert photographer Upside Down, their handle said, bro, so dental school and medical school, you doing both? No. I'm in the 4-year oral surgery residency program where we don't do those extra 2. There's a 6-year oral surgery residency program and a 4-year. The 4 years just straight through 4 years. The 6-year, they spend 2 extra years in medical school. 99% of oral surgeons do the same oral surgery, and it's not required to get an MD for like the bread and butter oral surgery. You don't need to get an MD for that, right? So why would I go through that? Therefore, I didn't apply for as many of those programs. Dot said, what are my chances of that my nerve heals 100%? Well, I can't tell you that answer, right? And this is not medical recommendation, but what the literature tells are just basic textbook. This is general biology. Is that, this is what I tell patients, like say they're getting orthodontic surgery. Depending on their age, their healing capabilities and abilities, when their capabilities vary. The older age you are, the less likely you're to have full healing of that. The younger you are, the more regenerative properties that your body has, right? Abilities. And that being said, the skin heals like that, right? Muscles, they heal fairly quickly. Cartilage, bone heals. Bone heals over the time, right? 3 to 6 months, your 3 to 6 months, your bone's going to be healed. That being said, the nerves are the slowest growing and slowest to repair in the body. Nerves could take several months. They might take several months to years and may never come back entirely, right? So that's one thing to consider. Thundergun 6969, what are you selling? I'm not selling anyone, friend. I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling anything, friend. We're on here having a conversation, having some fun, right? The Great Kid said, would you ever be interested in doing a Zoom to talk about your path with the dental club at my uni? Absolutely. That's from the Great Kid. Dude, just send me a DM on either, I would prefer Instagram, but if you could send me a DM on LinkedIn too, I'll respond to it there as quick as possible. Dot said, I'm 20. Let's go. 20 is you're on the younger scale, right? If you're in your 60s and 70s, you're on the older scale of that nerve regeneration capability concept, right? So now that doesn't mean that it's going to heal entirely. I don't know what nerve damage you had. I don't know what's going on, but these are just the general concepts, okay? Seagull said, do you still recommend dentistry with the debt load? Well, you have to really balance that with, there's so many things that go into the debt load. Are you going to need to take loans to pay off the entirety of your tuition throughout dental school, undergrad? You're going to be coming out with, I know a guy who's over $700,000 of debt. Granted, he's an oral surgeon, but that's going to take a very long time to pay back, if at all. It also depends on, you have to have some self-awareness to say, do you manage money well, right? Are you disciplined with your money? And I don't know that. You need to ask yourself that. You need to have the self-awareness to say yes or no, I'm on the more disciplined scale or less. In addition to that, you have to say, what location am I most likely going to be working after? Is it very competitive? Is the insurance reimbursement rate in that area very low? You have to consider that too. Is it fee for service? like they're just paying you cash for work to be done, you're going to get your full price then. If you're taking most insurances, those insurance companies aren't going to reimburse you 100% of what you charge. So there's a lot that considers it. And why do I bring that up? Because the amount of time that it'll take you to pay it off, that debt, depending on how much it is, might be longer or shorter. So there's a lot of things to consider here. Do I still recommend dentistry? I recommend dentistry to anyone who's interested in working with patients, working with people, having a job that works with people, that's still close to being your own job. In medicine, that's becoming far and few. It's very rare that you get into medicine as a specialist even, and you have your own practice, okay? The insurance companies are pushing them out, and the hospitals are buying up all the outpatient offices, okay? So that's just something to consider, okay? All right, let's get after it. Connor, Yamzak, LOL facts. I still have some lower lip paralysis from my orthognathic at 8 MPO. Not sure what you mean there, but lower lip, yeah, that can, it's not paralysis, it's paresthesia. Changes to sensation of that area of your lower lip, right? Right over here, maybe a little cheek, the cheek on that side. That can happen sometimes. Dot said, do you have any interview tips? Yeah, I got plenty of interview tips. What do you want to know? You got to specify a little more than that. Connor Yamsek said they are slow. Yeah, nerves are super slow. But nerves are great. Allie said, applying to dental school next round. Congrats, Allie. Awesome. Good luck. I hope you got your D&T in by now, right? That'll be good. I would recommend reading that book that I mentioned before, all right? If you missed it, you could catch this podcast. I'll be putting it out. This is TikTok Live number 33. I'll be putting it out like tonight or tomorrow, depending on how much time I can get into the review process and posting it. Thumbnail or whatnot. Humana.org said, did you like Anki or Quizlet better? I liked Quizlet better. Anki's great, but it's great if you know someone's pre-made set. I mean, they have that on Quizlet too. I liked Quizlet better. I did. Remaining her with a little kissy emoji. Yup, this is true. All right. Kiss emoji says this is true. Dr. Drama Champion says, dentistry is being bought out at rapid rates. It's medicine 10 years ago. Yes. Dentistry traditionally follows medicine by 10 to 15 years. And this is what is happening now. And if you look at medicine, they noticed this in radiology. One of my buddies, his father was telling me this happened with radiology. And radiology got overextended. They got bailed out by certain banks and governments and stuff, unfortunately, because they never suffered the consequences. They bought it out, and now radiology has never been the same on a private practice level necessarily, right? There's a good chance that dentistry, the corporations that are buying it out, will overextend themselves. And there will be a chance in the next 5 to 10 years, potentially 5 to 15 years, to buy back some of these practices at a very bargain rate, right? So that's something that I'm hoping for. And I want to set up a system in place where I'd like to have a private practice where we don't have to answer to investors. I like to develop a team that has a vision for an organization, only surgeons, no private equity. It's going to take a lot to do this, but I think it'll be something that will create a system that's much more long-term, much more internally based, that shares the values of the surgeons within and the team within, where you select the surgeons based off of things like excellent patient reviews, because I think that's going to lead the future as far as healthcare goes. So we'll get there. We'll get there another time, but yeah. Dot said about interview tips, how to secure the interview. How to secure the interview? I mean, you have to have, that has nothing to do with interviews. That has to do with your application, when you submit it, what you submit, your scores, your GPA, your average, your DAT score, maybe MCAT if you're applying to medical school, and so on. Kate said, working for a young dentist, and it feels refreshing. LOL. Oh, awesome. All right. Joel, man, that's Dr. Javi said, you'll be answering to me. Yeah, I will be. But you're not a whole private equity firm full of investors and stuff, right? I want to answer you because I want to work with you. And we have a vision together that we have now, and we're going to build. So that's why, at least I think, delusional or not, I think it's better. Nina Bina said, how do you feel about Trump? The way I feel about Trump is you need to be very careful with politics spoken about these days, especially if you're in an institution such as myself. I have 9 months left of residency and I want to graduate. And I don't want to talk about Trump or Kamala. I don't want to talk about them until after I graduate. My opinions in politics do not matter at this time, nor should they mean anything to you. That being said, I do think it's very good to get a very informed decision. Regardless of what side you're on, they tell you to just bash the other side, right? Don't listen to them and everything. I think it's very important to listen to the speeches at both the Democratic and Republican national conferences. I think it's important to listen to everyone there, get an idea of what their values are, get an idea of what their policies are. That's the only way you can make a true informed decision in this November when you vote, or when you vote, right? Does that make sense? This is not about either side. This is about you doing the best thing you can do for an informed decision. Nina Bina, I love that. Nina Bina, patients are never satisfied, so don't give them an option to do reviews. Well, I mean, Amazon gives you an option to do reviews, right? So what do you think about that? Julius Mendoza, is there a plastics fellowship for OMFS? Yes, there is. I will not be doing it. S. Ela said, are you that one guy? I'm that one guy. I'm that one guy. I've had a target on the back of my head since I started this residency. User 1471, thoughts on perio and the future of the field. Regardless, contrary to what a lot of people will tell you when they believe, I think the future of perio has a very strong future. I really do. I think the future of perio is going in a big direction because, for example, they've taken hold in the institutions. They've taken hold of the dental school for politics and clinical aspects such as placing implants. All implants at the dental school right over there, for example, all implant patients go to perio. They don't go to oral surgery. You have students that are graduating out of a 4-year dental school like over here that don't even know that oral surgeons do implants. That's a problem because they graduate, they go down the road, and they have no idea, right? Dr. Shaffing said, I'm Joe Man. I said, I'm joking, LOI. Yeah, but it's good to have cheers. It's good to have some fun, right? Nina Bina said, I agree. Awesome, awesome. Nina Bina said, wow, congratulations. That is really amazing. I don't know which one you're saying is amazing, but the great kid said, all right, I sent you a message on Instagram. Perfect. I'll get that DM right after sometime tonight or tomorrow morning, okay? It's going to be a busy night ahead if I'm looking at the time now. Yeah, I got to get going. Nina Bina said, I was thinking of doing med school, but currently in a radiology program. Ultrasound program. Excellent. Ultrasound is great. Ultrasound is great. That's very big, especially the OB-GYN. The OB-GYN sector is booming. I see outpatient offices for OB-GYN and in vivo, in vitro fertilization. Huge, huge. For whatever reason, right now, there's more difficulties and challenges of pregnancy than ever before. And I don't know enough about it, but I see a very big future in OB-GYN. Ultrasound, for example. Mads Beck, follow the live creator. Thanks, Mads. Julius Mendoza, do you have any research interests currently? I have a lot of research interests, but will I execute on them? Probably not. I think that maybe I can get together a team of people that are really good at doing the research, and we create some ideas and some hypotheses, for example, right? And execute on them. I would like to lead visionarily and maybe be a spokesperson on results and do them ethically. But I don't see myself doing the research myself, if that makes sense, right? User 314, I got to go, guys. 7:26, we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes and I got to go. Inhumane Brand, how much money do you have in your bank account? All right, I'll tell you a little secret. I do have one Bitcoin. I had at least one Bitcoin. But yeah, so I don't know. I believe in Bitcoin. I think it's got a good future. This is not financial recommendation or advice. I got to say that on the recording and everything. But yeah, I believe in Bitcoin. I think it's going to be very important for the future because as the rate that money's being printed and the amount of spending going on in the country, you could take all the richest people in the country. I forget how much trillion. It's like between 20 and 40 trillion dollars. If you took all of that money and you gave it to the government, you know it'll only take care of costs for about 8 months. Isn't that wild? The spending that government is going at, that's the problem. It's not the rich people in the country. The people that figure out the most efficient, most productive, most return on investment systems, you want to take away their money and their ability to do more and bring money here to the United States? I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. And my point is here, even if you did that, it's not going to cure the problem. It's not. You see what I'm saying? So, food for thought. Inhumane Brand, how much money? Oh, you said that. Cyrus, what made you do dentistry? That's a big question. I like working with people. And dentistry, at least at the time, this is 8, 9, 10 years ago now, seemed to be pretty awesome because a lot of the oral surgeons and dentists that I knew had their own practice. They owned their own job. They were their own bosses. And I think that's very important when you work with patients because your primary focus is the patient, not necessarily the organization you work for, right? And in a private practice setting, if you could become a partner, you can still maintain that level of freedom and that level of focus towards patient care. That's my answer to that, okay? The great kid, no worries, man. We will work with you. Also, just want to say I love everything you do. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Let me know what you want to hear more of because these TikToks that I do, the daily TikTok, I want to know what you would like to hear more of, okay? So I can post that, all right? We'll have some fun with it. Nina Bina, ugh, I chose the Echo route, not OB-GYN. That's fine. Echo, there's so much going on there. I wouldn't be worried about that. You're doing great. User 3141, do you think they'll eventually have better alternative to dentures? Yes, I do think so. I do think so. I mean, the implant supported dentures, you got overdentures. There's so much going on there. The Great Kid, you've been a big influence on planning for what I want to in dental school. Thank you, The Great Kid. Thanks, friend. I wish I knew your name rather than The Great Kid. But yeah, anything I could do to help, you let me know. Nina Bina said, and by the way, I said it's amazing that you are in your last year of residency. Oh, well, it'll be a little bit more amazing after these 9 months when I'm out and graduated and away from a certain environment and culture. Anyway, for another time. Julius Mendoza, one more minute, guys. One more minute. Top 3 longest listeners I will be shouting out in the caption of the podcast I'll be posting on Spotify and YouTube, by the way. Julius Mendoza, yes, basically how the craniofacial plastic research lab works that I'm involved in. Oh, okay, yep. What's a good DAT score from the ones odd OEO? Is 19 good? It's good. To get into dental school, you want a strong score, right? And I would retake that again. I'm not saying you can't get in with a 19. I would retake that again. I would try and get at least a 21, okay? It's competitive out there, I know. Julius Mendoza followed the live. Oh, thanks, Julius. Age, where's your accent from? Long Island, New York? I don't know. I don't like my accent either. It is what it is, right? You grow up with what skin you're born in, and you get made fun of for how pasty white you are and your accent, but it's a strong island accent, I'll tell you that much. Julius Mendoza, do you want to pursue a fellowship after OMFS? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd like to maybe one day create a fellowship for people in any sort of dentistry, medicine, law, veterinary medicine that need marketing to kind of promote themselves and get an idea of how to work with the social media platforms to network, to build brand, and to gain a patient basis that they would never have imagined. And I got to do it first, right? If I could do it, I could teach others, and I think that'll give people a lot more freedom, such as that private practice once did. That's my dream in dentistry. User 314, I gotta go, guys. Any new dental technology advancements you're excited about? The IPS system, I'm excited about seeing how those end up over time, how how the follow-up is over several months to years even, right? How are they going to be successful? That's what we want to see. SawitagainHelen, coffee talk. Coffee, dog, water. Yeah. My ugly accent, right? Outline how to stand out in OMFS residency interview. Same thing that I said before. It's a conversation, okay? It's a conversation. It's not a multiple choice exam. Sigma, what is the best book for OMS? I mean, you got Neville's, you got Pathology, you got Peterson's, you got OMFS Secrets. You have just your first year, I would go all in on the OMS Residence Guide, the OMS Reference Guide. Excellent. That's a very good basis for developing that foundation of understanding of oral maxillofacial surgery. And I'm going to cut it off there. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. This is TikTok Live number 33. The 3 top longest listeners on the podcast, I will be posting. Be giving a shout out in the caption of the podcast I'll be posting on Spotify and YouTube. And I'm cutting it off here. All right. Cheers, friends. Cheers.